Mic in, logo up, looking like everything is green. Okay. Welcome everybody to Sports Dynasty NFL. This is Juan here, all by his lonesome yet again for a preview episode. This is for NFL Week 6. And before we get started, I would encourage, appreciate, and ask of all of you to like our content, share with everybody you know, and please subscribe to our channel. Download our content on various different podcast platforms that you may have, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, anything that you may have. It'll do us a great service. It's free, won't cost you anything but a click. That's all we need from you. That will be absolutely sensational. And also, our weekly pick'ems will be closing on Thursday before the Thursday night football game tomorrow between the Washington Commanders and the Chicago Bears. That little boar fest that probably no one will watch. But beforehand, our weekly pick'ems. In order for you to be qualified to do our weekly pick'ems, you have to come join our Facebook group, Sports Dynasty, over on said social media network, and you'll be all good to go and win a fabulous prize at the end if you guys are in it. And even if you're too late to get to that point, it's still fun at the end of the day. It's something that we love to do for our community to bring everybody together. So much interaction there. So please go ahead and join all the fun. Now, with all that said, all the plugins and all that, why don't we get started with our preview that we always do week by week? So we'll get started with said Thursday game. The Commanders will be visiting the Chicago Bears over and under 38.5. The Chicago Bears are favored, quote unquote, by one, and it is a pick 'em. So why don't we do this on the screen right now, shall we? Oh, we got the lines for you like we always do. Lines are preset for the New York area. I'm pretty sure lines are close or pretty much the same. You have various sport gambling networks that people use. I think these are probably the most popular four: DraftKings, Caesars, FanDuel, and GM. So we'll be using these for this week. It's usually not the spot we use, but hey, whatever. Uh if we thought last week's game was gonna be an embarrassment, oh my gosh. But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to be positive about it. I think that this game will actually be more entertaining than the snooze fest we got last week because said teams, the Indianapolis Colts and the Denver Broncos, are not playing in this game. Two of the worst teams in the NFL, with Indianapolis having the worst offense in the NFL, according to Pro Football Reference. And if I'm not mistaken, the DVOA is still exactly the same, with them also having the worst DVOA for the offensive side of the ball. So, with that all being said, that was the worst game of the year, and the Denver Broncos apparently have two of the worst games in the NFL season so far. So let's go on with it. The Commanders, albeit frustrating half of the time, they do have way more offensive firepower than both teams put together that we saw last week. The Washington Commanders actually have this thing called throwing the football down the field. They actually have the capabilities of doing that if the offensive line can get things together and if Carson Wentz, as stated by Ron Rivera himself, will stop turning over the football. Yes, he shouted out and completely put his quarterback under the bus in a press conference after their loss last week. That happened when they lost to the Tennessee Titans last week. They are still like 30th in DVOA offensively. Defense, however, is still 19th. They're going against Chicago Bears, who can't throw a football to save their lives. However, they do have a top rushing attack in the league, and I believe that it is the it's the fifth best rushing attack in the league so far. Okay. I don't have any idea, to be 100% honest, because there's a reason why it's a pick 'em. Let's stop wasting everybody's time because no one really gives a crap about this game. Why don't we give the win to the this is how this is, guys. Screw it. Let's go with the Commanders. Screw it. Let's go with the Commanders. If you bet in this game, I think you're kind of insane, but at least it's the only game of the week, so you're probably better off watching the Yankees and the Guardians on baseball, to be 100% honest, on that game too at New York. Let's end this. I'm gonna pick the Commanders to win this game because they have to win at some point or not. Let's move on to the San Francisco 49ers going to the Atlanta Falcons, and their Falcons are base 5 to 6 point underdogs, 5.5 in their own home. The over and under is 44.5. Taylor twos because the Atlanta offense is primarily a rushing attack, which I believe they are also top 5 in rushing throughout the entire league. I want to say they are in the top 3. They are third, absolute third in the league. So that gives them something to look forward to. However, a lot of their players are still seem to be injured. We haven't had word yet on Kyle Pitts or Cordero Patterson, who are, especially in Cordero Patterson's case, or the leaders of their rush attack. They're 10th in DVOA though because they're very creative, something I love to give Arthur Smith props for, but they are going against the San Francisco 49ers. But there are key injuries for San Francisco. Again, this is early. We don't have any idea on the status of Nick Bosa, who was hurt last week against the Carolina Panthers. But they did lose, I believe they lose their top corner, unfortunately, to the ACL tear. So the secondary is a little beat up. However, lucky them, they're not playing a passing team. I love the 49ers in this game to win outright if you want to money line it. And even with the injuries, I'm going to go with San Francisco cutting Atlanta's streak. 5-game streak of covering the spread. I'm going to pick San Francisco to win. I like them winning 24-14 at Atlanta. There's no, even though there may or may not be a Nick Bosa sighting in this game, the rest of the defense just flies everywhere around the dang field. They don't have to worry much about an aerial attack against the Atlanta Falcons, as they're not a primary passing team. So I think, and I feel pretty good about San Fran taking this and covering that spread, with Atlanta being the 30th overall offense when it comes to passing. No bueno. While San Francisco, on the other hand, is a top defensive team in the league. They are second according to Football Reference, and they are DVOA the first. So I love San Fran here. I love them taking this spread. Forward, let's move on to the one of the harder games to call, to be honest, the New England Patriots visiting the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are 2.5 points favorite, the standard issue for home teams. The over and under in this game is a 43.5. Very difficult game. The Patriots coming off a shutout against Detroit Lions at New England, while the Cleveland Browns are unfortunately coming off of a loss against the Los Angeles Chargers, I believe also at Cleveland, while Brandon Staley getting away with another boneheaded, I'll go as far as to say boneheaded, fourth down call. Jacoby Brissett had a costly interception in the end zone late in that game to really put the team away. It was very unfortunate for him. The New England Patriots, 9th in DVOA. However, rush defense is a different story when it comes to rankings. In total, they are ranked nearer the bottom of it, ranking at a 22nd overall rush defense. And Cleveland Browns, if you didn't guess it already, the Cleveland Browns are number 1 rush attack in the league, sporting Nick Chubb, sporting Kareem Hunt, and a great offensive line. The Patriots were able to get pressure, though, last week on a pretty dang good Lions offensive line after a while. It took a minute, but they wound up getting it. Defense is, as always, under Bill Belichick, very disciplined and very stout when it comes to forcing up a game plan. So the assumption will be that Bill Belichick will, as we deem it here in Sports Dynasty and other Patriots fans, they will Belichick Nick Chubb is our guess. Take away that running game and having the quarterback, Jacoby Brissett, who was drafted by New England, by the way, beat them. And I like the chances of the England Patriots there. I love the plus 2.5. It went up to 3. I will throw everything at that. But I actually do believe the New England Patriots are going to win this game outright. And I like over 43.5 for this game. I am liking a 27-20 victory for the New England Patriots, since the Cleveland Browns defense on its own is almost not, well, not almost, because Detroit defense is, it's historically bad, but the Cleveland Browns are one of the worst defenses in the NFL. And with Ramondre Stevenson carrying the torch for the running back core of the New England Patriots, we're more than likely going to see another phase, whether it's going to be any of the rookies, whether it's going to be a JD Taylor comeback. I don't know. But it's interesting to see what will happen in New England's backcourt now. But a lot of people, including a lot of people in the Poison, think that Ramondre Stevenson is due for a breakout year this year. He had a buck 61 last week coming up. I think he may be prime for some magic this week at Cleveland. I like New England. I'll pick New England if I was you guys. I do pick him for the pick'ems, and the 2.5 point spread is having New England coming out and winning in total. It's done deal there. And I like the over 43.5. I think both teams score a little bit of points, especially as Cleveland is susceptible in giving them up in the first place. Let's move on for the New York Jets going to Lambeau to go against the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are favored by 7.5 at home after a just a bad loss at London against the New York Giants. The over and under in that game will be 45 in total. So Vegas is interestingly expecting points, and I disagree with it. I think this game will go under the 45. I like the Green Bay Packers to win this game, but they've been very, very, very suspect on the offensive side of the ball, and quite frankly, maybe even defensive side. But if you really look at how the New York Giants were able to do it, Saquon Barkley took a majority of the load at London to go down the Green Bay Packers defense, wearing them out over time. And Daniel Jones, at the second half of that game, was really running down on his own, the scrambling, the spending plays, using his legs to really wear down the Green Bay Packers defense, who is 23rd in defensive DVOA, by the way, which is not good, completely underperforming what a lot of people expect them to be a top 5 defense in total. Okay. So I actually don't think the Jets are matched up well in this game, because they've only shown that they can run the football. I believe only one game last week against the Miami Dolphins, injury riddle, I may add, Miami Dolphins at New York, well, New Jersey. So I will comfortably pick the Green Bay Packers. However, I think the Jets will cover this spread. They've been proven to be very, 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 very feisty coming out of the gate, literally since week 1 against the Baltimore Ravens. Been in every game they played in, really put it held tough outside of, I guess, the Bengals game in week 3, when the Bengals were basically desperate. You can put that far, basically desperate. So I will pick the Packers to win. I like the Jets +7. I think that's a pretty safe bet. And I like the under 45.5 in this contest. Speaking of a contest that no one wants to see, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars going against the Indianapolis Colts. Back up at Indiana in a rematch they played earlier this year. The Jacksonville Jaguars completely throttled the Colts in the week 2, 24-0 at Jacksonville, a place where the Colts don't like to go. The Colts are favoring this game by 2, interestingly enough, and the over and under is 42. The last, I believe, 3 contests that the Jaguars and Indianapolis Colts had, I believe it went under the 42-point mark. This is tough because before last season, that 42 mark was always usurped. Even, the Jacksonville Jaguars is known, especially for the last 10 to 15 years, of being just a sorry franchise. We can go as far as to say that at this point in time. They still wind up scoring points. So there is going to be a time where that's going to break this 3-game skid of having under 42. I don't know if it's going to be now because the Indianapolis Colts, like I've said earlier in the show, have the 32nd worst offense in the NFL. And the Jacksonville Jaguars have something to prove now after going really tough start, a really good start. I'm sorry, going 2-1, the one going to Philadelphia in week 4, getting throttled by the Eagles and the rainstorm that came with them at Philadelphia, and then just absolutely crapping the bed against the Houston Texans last week, losing, I believe, 13-6. Just a bad showing for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have to make right here, and they don't have a choice. They have to sweep the Colts here. If they don't, then I guess those are going to be the fake September darlings that we usually talk about here. They're still 7th in DVOA, though, the Jacksonville Jaguars being, and they are 7th on defense. This is a divisional matchup, though, and divisional matchups sometimes defy the laws of physics because they know each other very well. But I think because it has to happen, I like Jacksonville to win this game. If I was in any position for you guys, I please advise you, do not put your money on this game. If since we're using actual sports books here, all of them have the ability to do alternate spreads and alternate total points. I would 100% put an alternate total of under 50 something of your choosing because they shouldn't go that far. I think it will go under 42. I will go far to say that. I don't feel good about it, but that's where my feeling goes since Trevor Lawrence and the offense may not be in the best shape right now. They are going against the 11th overall ranked defense in the Indianapolis Colts, in 11th ranked in DVOA rather. Sorry, and Colts 32nd. I don't see them scoring more than 14 points in this game unless the Jacksonville's are just the pretenders that they might have been accused of in the recent past. So I definitely like Jacksonville to win this game. Not that much, but I do like them to win this game. So I will pick them to win it. I guess they'll have to cover the spread because I don't see a 1 point game going on at all. 17-14 or 20-14 victories looking very prominent for the Jacksonville Jaguars at Indianapolis. Okay, so why don't we move on to the Vikings going to Miami? Very injury riddled Miami Dolphins team, uh, to the point where the Minnesota Vikings are favored on the road, surprisingly, by 3.5 points, as you see right here. Uh, the assumption as of right now, so still a little bit early in the week, that the backup quarterback of the Miami Dolphins will be playing in this game. The rookie and Skylar Thompson. He was thrown in the fire last week against the New York Jets. Still kind of held his own for the most part, though, until that fourth quarter struck. And when that fourth quarter struck, yeah, they got blown out the water, allowing 40. But at the end of the third quarter, the score was 19-17 in the New York Jets' favor. So there's something that he did enough where it kept it close. The Miami defense tried their hardest, but when you have a backup third stringer playing suddenly in the game, is only so much you could do to try to hold them up before you guys get tired and loosen out. But he has a whole week of practice now, going against the Minnesota Vikings team. But in my opinion, I'm sure in Trevor's opinion too, is not the best team in the NFL, not even close to it. I don't even believe they're still the best team in the division, regardless of Green Bay's struggles. Okay, so I still gonna pick the Vikings either way. Because if they find a way to lose this game, oh my lord, there's going to be major problems in Minnesota if they want to lose this game to a backup quarterback and an injury-riddled team. Okay. The Minnesota Vikings are 20th in DVOA, however, 28th in defensive DVOA, which is the thing that I like to circle up. Because even though they are playing with a backup quarterback, I do believe that Mike McDaniel is actually a good coach, at least in the play calling aspect. And I think he will definitely develop quarterback friendly plays, since they are coming from a quarterback friendly system, to help Thompson really make the correct throw to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle if he's playing, because they both are banged up on their own. Now the problem is that when Minnesota turns it on, they're actually a very tough offense to defend. We haven't seen that yet this season, though. Their coach hasn't really shown any. differences between offenses that were run in the past under Mike Zimmer and now. At least in my opinion, I don't see any differences. They're still the Vikings of under Kirk Cousins for the last five or four seasons. I don't see much of a difference. I do like them to win this game though, but when it comes to that 3.5 point spread, I will really tread caution because I wouldn't be surprised with a week's worth of practice under Miami's belt at home. By the way, I think they might be able to actually cover this and only lose by 3 points. I actually do like a 24-21 victory, but a 24-20 victory is very probable. So a money line Vikings probably is the safest bet on this. Um, if I didn't read the over and under, I apologize. The over and under is 45.5. And based on what I just said, it will go under that. And I do believe that under a third string quarterback. I would hope so at least. But Minnesota is my pick. And if anything, I will tread safe and pick Minnesota's money line. But if you really have to pick a spread, then I guess Miami is probably the better bet. But I think it's a stay away entirely. And speaking of stay away, this is probably the biggest stay away of the entire week for me. Cincinnati Bengals going to the New Orleans Saints Superdome, playing against New Orleans. They are 2-point favorites on the road. The Bengals are, and the over and under in this game is going to be 43. We're gonna also assume as a right now that Andy Dalton is going to continue to be the starting quarterback. Whether he'll have receivers, I have no idea. Chris Olave was knocked out of the game last week against the Seattle Seahawks with a concussion, so I'm not entirely sure if he'll be playing in this game based on all the drama that's been going on as of late. If that's the case, I do like the Cincinnati Bengals to win this game and to cover this 2-point spread regardless. Although they have been underwhelming so far, they are still 14th in the league in DVOA, and their defense is what is the surprising but very promising part is 8th overall. Very good defense. They're performing very well. The team is 25th though in DVOA, which is a little scary. Actually, pretty dang scary to be 100% honest with you, but that's how it is when your offensive line doesn't want to block for you, when offensive lines to have all those problems, and when you have let's face it, a subpar coach. Subpar coach. Okay. It's really tough to call this one. If you're betting, please don't do that. Please don't do that. I think this is a complete stay away. Just to stay away, to sit back and watch the game. But if you have to do it, I guess you will go with Bengals -2. And I don't know if I like the 43 over, since the Saints, I don't think, will be scoring more than 17 points in this game at all. However, the Bengals do have the capability of scoring maybe 27. So I guess they will go over, but I wouldn't put my money in this game at all. Even in a money line, there is a universe where the Saints actually do take this game. Even though I honestly think that their older defense might be exposed, but this could be the game for all we know that Cameron Jordan might turn back the clock a little bit, look like in his prime, and really terrorize Burrow and Alel Collins specifically on the right hand side. But I like the Bengals. Please don't bet in this game. Don't do it. Just save everybody the trouble, please. Next, we be going to Jersey, going to the Meadowlands as it once was, is MetLife Stadium now. The New York Giants will be hosting the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are favored on the road by 5.5, despite the great comeback win that the New York Giants showed at London against the Green Bay Packers. No respect from Las Vegas, apparently. And the over and under is going to be 45 points. It sucks because when the lines dropped on Tuesday morning, the over and under was actually 43. Now that is 45. I'm not sure if that's going to go over or not. But the Giants have been also covering most of their spreads all season also. And quite frankly, has a better record than the Baltimore Ravens right now. Yes, we're living in this world where the NFC East is good. We are living in a world where the New York Giants are just kicking behind right now. May not be winning their prettiest of ways, but kicking behind. But what's the funny part about this, according to statistics, is that the New York Giants actually are one rank behind the New York Jets in DVOA, the 17th and 18th. Okay, New York Giants DVOA is actually 25th in the league, but the Jets is 21st. Well, the Jets are 21st in DVOA, while the Giants are 12th because of their lead man Saquon Barkley. Okay, interestingly enough, the Baltimore actually third. They're 3-2, one game behind the New York Giants in record wise. They are third in DVOA, second in offense, and 14th on defense. Despite having, interesting how these stats work, they have in terms of yards, the worst pass defense in the NFL. Well, lucky for them, the New York Giants are a rushing team and are top 5 in rush attack. So they had to focus most of their attention on Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones's escapability. I would hope, since having one of the craziest escape artists in the league and arguably history in Lamar Jackson, they practice that on a daily basis. So they should be able to find a way. I trust John Harbaugh at least to be able to contain Daniel Jones and make him beat him from the pocket with little to no receivers to throw to at all. I like the Baltimore Ravens to win this game. Although Brian Dale has been coaching his butt off all season and is just a coach of the year candidate in his very early pointless coach of the year candidacy, whatever. This media. This is why I come listen to us and not them, because we keep it real around here. I don't see a way where they're able to really get their offense going against this Baltimore Ravens team unless Saquon does just turns into a superstar, just doing some Adrian Peterson prime stuff. I don't see how it happens. I like Baltimore to win this game. I'm not covering this bet. I'm not entirely sure about. As a money line Baltimore bet sounds perfectly reasonable to me in this state. Okay. Let's continue on with programming. Let's go on with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to the Pittsburgh after probably one of the more embarrassing, if not the most embarrassing loss in Mike Tomlin's tenure, losing 38-3 against the Buffalo Bills at Buffalo. Tampa is favored by 8 on the road, while the over and under for this game is 44 points. Tampa arguably should have one extra loss from that egregious roughing the passer call that basically saved the game, while Atlanta was mounting a huge comeback. They were down 21-0 last game against the Buccaneers, scored 15 unanswered, and when it came to that flag, that roughing the passer flag, it killed all hopes of the Atlanta Falcons. Even though I will say that we forgot to say this in the review show, that there was a blatantly missed pass interference call that should have been called at Atlanta the play before to give Tampa the first down anyway. Be it as it may, whatever. Now, Pittsburgh Steelers, I need to know, watching them, did last week happen because you played against arguably the best team in the NFL in the Buffalo Bills, or did last week happen because you're just not a good football team at all and throwing Kenny Pickett under the bus just to take his lumps now? Which one is it? They're going against Tampa Bay, which is the 4th overall DVOA in the entire league, 3rd on defense, which is the scary part. The only team that was able to really do serious damage against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensively are the Kansas City Chiefs, 13th, surprisingly, on the board in the offensive DVOA. But they are ranked very low in the rushing department. Steelers are still ranked very low defensively this season too. Unfortunately for them, especially not having their best player in TJ Watt, who is not expected to make a return yet in his point as well. Tampa will definitely win this game, so you could definitely money line that. I do like I I think the under is about 65% safe. But there is a world where the Tampa defense lets up again, and then Kenny Pickett shows why he was drafted in the first round. We're waiting for that game with Kenny Pickett. I don't think this is the game for him to show it, though. I do like Tampa to win this game. I like their defense to completely stout that Pittsburgh offense. The only thing is that the Pittsburgh Steelers like to throw the football downfield. Well, at least Kenny Pickett likes to throw the football down the field and has the personnel to do that with Chase Claypool, with George Pickens, rookie, with Deontay Johnson, and with Pat Freiermuth. Those are guys who go down the field, could stretch the field, and he likes to throw them deep balls. Hey, they're called 50-50 balls for a reason, and half the time they come down with it. If that happens a little more often, they get some luck their way, them coming down the balls more often, this may be an issue for Tampa going forward in terms of them getting their spread covered. I love Tampa's money line here. I think I will take their spread, but I don't like big spreads. They scare me. Anything less than like 6 is why I like to really dabble, especially for favorites. But I just like a money line Tampa here. And I will probably go with the under here too. I like it maybe a 24-17 or something like that. Maybe a 24-14 victory here. Maybe Tampa Bay uses this game to find their running game that they only done basically once against the Dallas Cowboys in Week 1 with Leonard Fournette. They need to find that running game and really take the pressure off Tom Brady. Otherwise, this team they may get some wins, but that's not a good football team. Not at all. Let's make this one quick because this is gonna be the Rams need this game, but no one's watching this. Carolina is visiting Los Angeles Rams, and the Rams might actually have their own fans take over the stadium for once. Ooh. The Rams are home favorites, 10.5, huge spread, but there's a reason for it. While the over and under this game is going to be 41, Baker Mayfield will not be in this game. Baker Mayfield will be missing around 2 to 6 weeks with a big ankle injury. He was seen with the boot at the middle part to the end of the San Francisco game. They just fired Matt Rule. Steve Wilkes is the interim head coach. Unfortunately for him, he is in a similar, not as bad, but similar situation that he had in the 2018 version of the Arizona Cardinals before Kyler Murray. Um, to be honest, I don't even know at this point in time who their starting quarterback is, as they haven't announced it yet. The Rams have to win this game, and I think they not only have to win, they have to win this game covering the spread to even look like a suitable football team because they've been looking anything but for the last, full season. I expect a defensive showing from the Los Angeles Rams for them to actually cover this spread, but I still think this offense is going to struggle, and I still think this offense is not going to show up. I love this game 24-7. I think the Rams will cover this 10-point spread, but I wouldn't really bet it. But I do love the under. The under 41. It sounds magnificent. Judging how I don't understand how the Carolina Panthers are going to score points at all in this game. Let's not waste any more time on this. Let's go to a more fun game. The Arizona Cardinals will be visiting the Seattle Seahawks, the high-powered offense Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks are actually still underdogs in their own home by 2.5. Arizona is favored, and the over and under is going to be 50.5. And that actually, ladies and gentlemen, that actually went down. That was at about 52 or something like that to start the entire to start the week. It went down. So I actually like the over in this game wholeheartedly. We're going against two not so wonderful teams, with the Arizona Cardinals being 26 in DVOA, and they're in the late 20s when it comes to their rankings as well. However, the Seattle Seahawks are looking to be pretty favorable in DVOA terms at 10th with the first overall offense in DVOA. Who would have freaking thought that Geno Smith was going to be able to lead a top offense somewhere? Absolutely insane. They do have the 31st overall defense in DVOA, though, which is why I think it's going to be a fun shootout. Will be probably about the third in a row, judging from the one before against Detroit Lions in week 4, then last week against New Orleans Saints, and now this one against Kyler Murray and friends. You can call it Arizona Cardinals. I will go with the Arizona Cardinals to win this game on the road. Um, I will pick them to cover this 2.5-point spread since it's under a field goal. It's kind of rare when teams actually win the game by less than that. So I'll take my chances and go with this 2.5. I definitely love the over 50.5, sorry, way more than actually taking the spread here. Okay. I see both teams scoring at least 28 points in this game. This is going to be a shootout. Going to be a fun game. However, unfortunately for them, this is not going to be a game that many people are going to see because we will instead be watching a possible AFC Championship game preview. Definitely a future playoff preview, has since we've seen the last 2 seasons. The Buffalo Bills will be going to the Kansas City Chiefs Arrowhead dreaded stadium, where for the first time probably ever in the Mahomes era or for a very long time in the Andy Reid era, the Chiefs are underdogs in their home stadium. Buffalo is favored by 2.5 on the road, and the over and under in this game will be 54. That, ladies and gentlemen, also was at 51 to start the week. That would have been the easiest over of all time. Now we are going against literally the first and second best offense ranking in the entire league. First and second overall is Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are ranked number one over everything in DVOA wise, while they're seventh and they're second. Seventh meaning offense, second on defense. While the Kansas City Chiefs are actually eighth in DVOA, third overall on offense, and 15th on defense. This is going to be a great one. It's going to be very fun. I don't think it's going to go as crazy as it did the last time they played in the regular season, where it was, I believe, Sunday Night Football, and the Bills just absolutely trounced Mahomes and company. I think this game will be a lot more competitive than that. I don't think it won't be as competitive as it was in the playoffs, where the Bills lost in 13 seconds. I think that the defense, the Buffalo Bills, still a little bit too injured to really put up a defensive showing they did last season. However, the defensive line for the most part is healthy, so I would love to see how the offensive line of the Kansas City Chiefs actually holds up against this team. They didn't do it last year on the regular season, but when they really got situated, they did a great job against them in the playoffs. This is gonna be a good one. I actually like Buffalo still to win this game based off of one detail that I've seen in multiple weeks against Kansas City. Their cornerback play is still isn't up to par to where it could compete with teams who have great receiving cores. Take week 2, for instance, against the Los Angeles Chargers in Monday and Thursday night football. How Mike Williams was just able to just jump over any corner that was matched against him and got anything he wanted. You saw that last week on Monday Night Football against the Las Vegas Raiders. Okay. Devontae Adams was running free the majority of the game and getting whatever he wanted against all of them. Unfortunately for the Kansas City Chiefs, the Buffalo Bills have 2 receivers who can do that exact amount of damage to Kansas City Chiefs, and Stephon Diggs, and now the emerging Gabriel Davis. Those 2 receivers on their own will be able to own this. Gabriel Davis has a history of absolutely decimating this defense, even though I do think that was game plan centric, since he was the only one that was able to get the football. But now that they have to respect him, since it's now guaranteed, this is going to be just an offensive slugfest. I still like the 54 over, but I wouldn't put my money on it completely. You're probably better off lowering it a little bit, like a 28-24 is looking like a good score in this game. I don't know if anybody hits 30. We'll see. But I do like the Bills to win this game. I think they're the better team right now. I think Kansas City has a couple of questions you have to answer, especially offensively. Even though they're ranked very high on offense, they do have games where they do get a bit stagnant. And Buffalo defense is definitely, no question, better than the Raiders defense. It's not even close, even though they did get their stops early in the first half against Kansas City Chiefs. Okay. So Buffalo, I'll take. I like the Buffalo spread. And if you want to be a little risky, getting that under might be a thing. But the fact is, remember this: emotions are part of things like this, and Kansas City Chiefs are actual underdogs in their home. Just be careful with that. 2 more. This is probably the game I'm most excited for. Actually, Dallas Cowboys. Before I can tell you that, I just have to say I can't believe that the NFC East is relevant again, to the point where this Sunday night football game I'm actually really excited for, because I am a known hater of watching NFC East games, talking about interdivisional games, especially the Cowboys. I've always, for my whole 15 years of watching this sport, of being a fan of the sport, I've always hated that team play. I hated it. But this year and this game, I'm so excited for it. Cowboys visiting Philadelphia, the last undefeated team in the league, the Philadelphia Eagles. They are favored by 6, as you can see right here, at home, which I think is entirely disrespectful, by the way, but we'll get to that. And the over and under game is going to be 42, expecting a defensive game. The Philadelphia Eagles just came back from a really tough, greedy game against the Arizona Cardinals, barely squeaking out that victory. I believe it was 20-17 for the game losing kick from the Arizona Cardinals. Just missing it. And the reason why I think that was happening is because the offensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles has been suffering major amount of injuries for the last few games. Philly is second in DVOA, fifth on both accounts, while the Dallas Cowboys are sixth in DVOA, 17th on offense, but sixth on defense. And from what I'm seeing, I know one team that has the guaranteed superstar and probably best defender in the league in Michael Parsons, and he's on that Dallas Cowboys team. I think it's disrespectful that the Philadelphia Eagles are favored by that much, and I think I know why. It's because they have Cooper Rush, which Vegas refuses to acknowledge, which is why it's been very easy to bet on Dallas Cowboys games for the last 4 weeks, since they've kept the spread so big for the majority of them outside of the Washington one. It's been very easy to bet on Dallas, and they've hit everything for the last 4 weeks. Okay, so I don't see how this will be any different. I definitely think the Dallas Cowboys will cover this spread, no question. Who's going to win this game, however, is entirely different matter. And also, before I continue on, let's finish the betting thing. 42 will be going under. I don't think anybody will be scoring. I love a 21-17 victory for I don't know yet. I'm still not convinced on Philadelphia being a top tier team right now. I'm not sure yet. This is the test right here, which is why I'm still pretty fickle on them at this point in time. Yes, they're undefeated, and yes, they look pretty good on a lot of the times, but I'm still not. I'm not. I gotta see the signature win. The signature win to show me that they're now gonna join the big boys in Kansas City, the big boys in San Francisco, the big boys in the Buffalo Bills. Those top tier teams. I need to see the victory. I think if they're able to neutralize Michael Parsons and company in this game, I think that they will have their signature win so far, because I think the Cowboys are a top team in the league at this point in time. They'll finally set their mark as the big boys, and they are now will evolve into playoff borderline Super Bowl contenders. And I think, barring injuries, I think they'll do that. I like Philly to win this game, not covering the 6. I love Dallas. I love Dallas to cover it. I love a 21-17 victory instead, but it would be 4-point deficit. But for the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game, I think Jalen Hurts will show what he's really made of. I think their rushing attack is going to be what brings the Dallas Cowboys downfall in this game. But they're going to have a fun rematch in a few weeks and going to be awesome. I do like Philly's rush attack to take the team over the edge. Jalen Hurts is just too dangerous right now. Jalen Hurts is just a multi-dimensional machine at this point in time, who is making his mark in the NFL. And I think this will continue. They won't be losing. They'll be 5-0 in this game, in my opinion. Denver Broncos will be visiting the Los Angeles Chargers on Monday Night Football. A game that I don't even. Well, I mean, it's America, and America watches football no matter who's on the field. So I'm so sick of talking about this team. I think this is gonna be the last time for a while that Denver has a primetime game, though. I could be wrong, but I think it is. I hope it is. I really pray that it is. I'm actually breaking the fourth wall right now and checking to make sure of it. I know they have more, but I really hope that this is the last time we see it for at least a few weeks. I'm at week 10 right now, and I don't see them, so I think this is the last one for a while. And thank the Lord, thank the Lord. Last time we gonna talk about them in prime time. Los Angeles Chargers are favored at their home stadium, quote unquote home stadium, by 5, and the over and under this game is 45.5. I don't know where in God's name they think that the Denver Broncos are gonna find a way to score on this team, but apparently Vegas think this is gonna happen. I love the under in this game, but would I bet on this game? Heck no, absolutely not. It's it's crazy how we talk so much about Denver Broncos, but it's funny how they're still 13th in DVOA because their defense is actually pretty dang good, which is a big reason why I don't understand why the 45.5 is their over and under total. It should definitely go under than that. And a funny stat for this season in betting terms, a lot of the games, the primetime games, have gone under. A lot of them. So I don't know why this is that high, but I guess Vegas has caught up with it, especially since they have the 27th day, as in Denver has the 27th ranked DVOA offense. They seem even worse than that to me. This coach, until this coach goes, I don't care. To be honest about anything. I'm gonna keep it 100% real with you guys. I'm so sick of this team. I am so sick of this coach. I don't think they're any good. I don't like them at all. I'm picking the Chargers to win this game. Uh, I don't like them covering the 5 in their own house, though. I think they'll win by 3. I like a 20-17 victory for the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm going with the best player on the field, which would be Justin Herbert, looking like he's doing pretty well, healing pretty well from his ribs. It's funny how bad the Chargers look themselves. They're going against a significantly worse team at the moment, and they're keeping tabs with Kansas City for the division lead right now. But absolutely can't stand this, and I am completely done with this Denver team until Nathaniel Hackett is no more. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it's very educational. I hope it's very informative for you guys on the betting aspect, especially. Um, uh, I believe Trevor and I are top 3 in the pick'ems right now. I think Trevor's second. I'm third. I love the fact that a non-sports dynasty staff member is first right now in the pick'ems. It makes me feel really good. I love that they're really taking this stuff seriously and they're really doing their homework, I hope, and being on the number 1 guy right now or gal right now on the pick'ems. So those are my picks. Those are my betting suggestions at the moment. One thing I would like to start doing is start putting out cards on the Facebook group and really helping you guys out, because I do even more research on these things once I get the injury reports out and putting out betting cards, and they win more often than not. Way more often than not. And me saying that, I just remembered that I was supposed to write down all my victories and share them for you guys. I forgot. I swear I will do it next preview episode. I swear I'll do it. All right. So with that being said, I repeat what I said earlier. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube feed. I really will appreciate you guys coming over to the Facebook group and joining it and having a blast like everybody else is, especially participating in the pick'ems. On Thursday, there will be the return of the Buckaphoria live show podcast going on in collaboration with Mafia Sports Report. Please check that out. The season tip-off is on Tuesday, so they're going to be going through their season predictions, their award predictions, and any preseason talk that hasn't been said yet. You know, a certain person in my Golden State Warriors want to be throwing punches at certain other Golden State Warriors. Stuff like that might be talked about in tomorrow's show. Okay, getting a nice little perspective. And maybe your boy might make an appearance in the show. Maybe. I don't know. We'll find out how I feel that day. But with that all being said, love you guys. Love doing this for you. Hope you guys enjoy. Please join our community. Love y'all.